Hello people, all you viewers. I hope you're all well. My name's Sibbo. The reason I'm making this video is hopefully to reach out and help people who've gone through or are going through really difficult situations. I myself have gone through a very, very tough time. I've come from a place where I was very depressed and suicidal. Life wasn't worth living. I'd given up on life, and I just didn't want to move on. Every day was a very painful day for me. There was no medicine that could help me in my state, in the state I was in. But then I reached out to God, and not in a way that is conventional, because my reaching out to God was out of anger and disappointment in God, and in that communication with Him, things happened which I'd like to share with you. I lost my son last year, end of May 2021. My son was the light of my life. He was my banter buddy, my dance partner, my travel partner, my he was just he was it. I put him on such a pedestal. He was my best friend. You know, it was always me and him, and you know, we went through so much together, and his sister. You know, his sister was, we were all very close. You know, I was very much into my kids more than anything in the outside world. You know, they were my whole world. Then my daughter grew up and left home, and my son, as obviously he's the youngest, he obviously was still a child. Is still a child. Was still a child, and I was still looking after him, and you know, we're still going through the motions of life, and you know, you're excited about every milestone. He was going to go to sixth form. He wasn't going to be wearing his uniform anymore. He was excited about that. We were talking about what clothes he was going to wear when he goes to school, what subjects he was going to do, what he wanted to do after school. You know, that same week that he passed away, he'd gone on his first date. He was so excited. He'd come and he'd tell me all about it. That first week was the first week they lifted lockdown, so he was able to go out with his friends, and he was having such a great time. You know, he'd come home and he'd tell me all about it. He'd give me a hug, and you know, just tell me that everything was okay. I didn't need to worry with him being out, and you know, he was always going to come home, or he would call me if there was any issue. You know, it's just, you know, it was a very intense week, and he was at the peak, you know, at the peak of his whole being. He was just so happy about everything, so excited. His prom was coming up as well. You know, he just finished his exams. It was just, you know, and we were going through all of these exciting emotions, all of these exciting things that were happening in his life. And then on the bank holiday Monday, when it was nice and sunny, and he was so excited to go out with his friends, he came into my bedroom and asked me if he looked good, if what he was wearing looked good, and I approved of it, and I said, yes, you look lovely. And I asked him what time he was coming home. He said he'll come home before sunset. I said, asked him what he wanted to eat. and he was going to have a linguine, which my husband was going to make, and it was great. He said he was, he was going to hang out with his friends and play football, and I shouldn't worry about anything. I should, loosen the leash a bit more for him and just let him go out and enjoy himself. And I thought, okay, he's making sense. I can't hold on to him forever, so I'm going to have to let him, be a bit more independent and hang out with his friends. So these conversations are conversations we had almost every time we want to go out, because as a parent you always worry what they're going to get up to when you're not around, and you always try on us if you can be there, and who are they going to be with, and how they're coming back, how they're getting there, etc. But he was 15, and he wanted to be himself, and I was excited for him, for all his new experiences that he was enjoying. And then about 3:15, I got a call, and I was told that my son's missing, that they were by the river. And at that point, I thought, well, he'll be okay. He's probably just walked off, and he's forgotten. He didn't tell his friends where he was going. Maybe someone's upset him, and he's making his way home. But while I'm thinking all of this, I'm putting my clothes on, and I'm getting dressed and getting ready to go, and I'm hurrying up, and I'm just rushing out the door, and well, the outcome wasn't what I wanted. My son was found the next day at 3:15 a.m. He was pulled out of the river, and when that happened, my whole universe shattered. I was there from the time I'd arrived at the river until the next morning. I didn't move from the side of the river, and I prayed, and when his body was pulled out, I felt everything inside of me just leave my body. I felt weak, and I probably went into shock. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it was happening. And then I told myself it probably wasn't him. I'll need to see the body myself, and I was in denial, and I was praying on the inside that it wasn't him. Then I went to view the body, and it was, and anyway, so my whole life from that point on was just changed. The world I knew before was gone. Everything, the person I was gone. I couldn't understand. I was devastated. The devastation is actually not a strong enough word. I was wrecked. I was broken. I was annihilated. I was left just an empty shell, just going from A to B, not knowing what to think, not knowing what to say, not knowing what to do, just not wanting to experience that moment. Just wanted to just be with my son, and either be with him or him be back to life. I just wanted the nightmare to end. I wanted to wake up and wake him up from bed, and tell him that he needs to get ready for school, and I just wanted to go back to normality. During that time, I was so angry with God. I felt that he'd left me, that he just abandoned us. I couldn't understand. Yeah, I didn't want to live. And I was thrown into such a dark hole, a total depression. I did seek counselling. They couldn't tell me my son was ever going to live, so I stopped talking to them. I was offered medication by the doctor, and that I didn't think my son was going to come back, so I didn't bother. I just, my heart, my soul, my mind, everything was a wreck. And then I found God. My relationship with God was more of a backseat relationship before anything. Didn't think I mattered. Even though I prayed every day to him just to look after my kids, and before school, we'd pray before my kids went to school, just to make sure that they're okay on their way to school. But in my heart, I didn't believe that I meant anything to him, and my journey changed. My perspective changed. Me sitting here now talking to you like this, I never thought I'd ever do. That's a miracle in itself. Me being alive now is a miracle in itself. Me being of sound mind is a miracle in itself. The reason I'm talking to you about this is because I know there's people out there who are going through so much in their lives, who feel like they've reached a dead end, and there's nothing beyond that. I want to just testify to say that God restored me, restored my soul, made me whole again. Even though I'm not the same person that I was before, I am, from my devastation, sitting here talking to you, sound mind. Even though to some people, just the mention of God will discredit me from being of sound mind. But I am of sound mind, and there is a God. And I am proof that there is a God, because I am sitting here. I've gone through hell and back, and I'm still here. It is not my strength that I'm still sitting here. It is the strength of God. If I did this on my own, I would not be sitting here. I'll be in a mental hospital, or I would be dead. Those were the only two options, nothing else. I'm not in a mental hospital, and I'm not dead. I've got a good job. I've got a good husband. I've got a good home. I'm still of sound mind. I'm not crazy. I have gone through that devastation. I am sitting here. I am telling you that God has restored my soul. Like the valley of the bones, one bone at a time, to make a person whole. God has restored my soul bit by bit to make me whole. He has breathed life back into me. Where does that leave me with Jordan? I know and I understand now that my son, I will see him when my time comes. I'm not here forever. I will one day meet my son again. And that's the promise that I have. So while I am here, what am I going to do with my life? I need to make it as meaningful as possible. And this is one of the ways I can make it meaningful, by sharing my story with you, sharing my testament with you, hopefully reaching out to somebody out there to say, look, reach out to God. He hears you. He is merciful. He loves you. God is love. You'll ask, if He is love and if He's so great, like you say, why didn't He save your son? These are conversations I've already had with God. These are difficult questions. Now, if we turn to the Bible and we see John 10, verse 10, you'll understand that there's only one person that comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And that is the enemy. And God is not the enemy. Yes, I believe that He probably could have saved my son. But you know something? As I said before, we are all here temporarily. I am not here forever. I will see my son again. But while I'm here, I'm going to use the time I have to reach out to people like you, to try and help build you. This is not the last video, this is just an introduction. My next video will be shorter. And pretty much straight to the point. I'll talk about the Bible and my life and what struggles I've been through and how the Bible's helped me through my struggles. I want you to be whole as well. God wants you to be whole as well. So I will make another video, and right now I've only quoted one verse of the Bible. This is my introduction. You know where I'm coming from, a bit of my background. You know why I'm here. And you know the message I'm trying to get across. So look out for my next video. I'll see you soon. God bless you all. Keep the peace.